Hello there, this is Cheryl Lentz, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, doing my follow-up Friday. So I hope you're joining me. Yesterday, I did some cards using, trying to see if I can watch here. I did some cards using the baby wipes. I called it wash, didn't I? Baby wipe technique. Today I put on baby wash. I'll have to correct that. Duh. Wipe the baby, you got the wipes. Anyhow. So I picked out a whole bunch of different stamp sets and different colors. And so I wanted to show some more of that. And a couple of the things, about like which stamp sets to use and which colors to put together and that kind of thing. So we're just kind of experimenting and having fun. And that's what this technique is for. It is so much fun. So I would say one of the things is when you're picking your colors, to put onto your baby wipe, you want to have some contrast. I think if you have more contrast, the better. And I'll show you some of that. Solid stamps do very well, but you have to remember that it's almost like a batik look. You're not going to get that crisp image like you do when you're stamping from a stamp pad. So a couple of things to keep in mind. So if you're here, welcome, welcome. Hello, let me know that you came by. I would appreciate that. Share the video if you like it. I'm going to turn the camera around because I have class at 3, so I have a lot of different things to show you. So I'm going to turn the camera around and get started. So here we go. Ta-da. So I'm going to go for a little ride right now. There we go. All right. Make it a tad bigger. All right. All right, ta-da, ta-da. So when I sit down now, I cannot see if you're here, so I'm not ignoring anyone. Please chat with me. So I started out with this one, artistically inked, which is a distinctive stamp. You're getting lights and darks all from the stamp alone. So this is what I put together. I didn't like the flowers, so I covered them up and I put more flowers on top. The two colors I used, which I thought was enough of a difference, but because it's a distinctive stamp and you're getting light and dark already, I used Calypso Coral and, what is this one? Pale Papaya. However, so I did this one, right? Then I did this with the flower. So that's with this big flower. I just created a kind of interesting background. So I thought, well, that's sort of fun because then you see more lights and darks, but it's kind of, not real distinct because that's how the image is, right? So that's one example. So I'll move this to the side here. Ta-da. And then I decided I would do snowflakes. So I'm using the Merry Snowflakes. And on this one, here's my block. It looks like a mess. You can see that. So with this one, I used Balmy Blue and Fresh Freesia. So the stamps have, like this one, this stamp here has some really fine cut detail. And so it comes out a little bit different. Here's some of the samples I did. So, ta-da, ta-da. So I'll show you. Let's stamp a few of them. So you just have to remember that the more you use it, it tends to muddy up. You know, you're pushing down and you're moving your stamp around, so it kind of muddies the water. So here is the big one again. So again, you're not going to get the crisp image like you do normally on our stamps. So I put this one down and I just put it in one spot and I sort of did a rock and roll thing. Remember that rock and roll method we used to use? That's another whole... But you're going to get like little splatters, right? Because there is, the wipes are wet and you're putting more wet on top when you put your re-inker in. So let it absorb. This one's very light. So I've used this a couple of times. So here's another of the snowflakes. I'm just kind of, but you can see that with this one, you get a crisper image. Now it's probably getting a little dry because I've had it out here. And you can always add more. I would suggest if you're adding more, there you go. If you're adding more, I would suggest getting a new baby wipe because like I said, the more you pound it and move it around, you're going to just get, your ink is just going to get muddied. There we go. So that's that. Here's a better when I first did it. So it's getting less and less on there. All right, so I took this same one and I used this stamp set in Bloom because this has solid, it's a solid surface stamp, right? So you have a little more room in there. So this is what that looks like. And I just did it all over. So I just took my stamps and I just kind of stamped all over, creating a nice, interesting, like my own DSP, a little interesting background. Here, let me get another sheet out and we'll see if I can. So again, with this one, I sort of moved it around a little bit. So here's my flower and I just kind of rubbed it around a little bit, trying to pick up that ink. And you get that kind of blotchy, almost batik sort of look. As long as I had the ink here, I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it with this. So that's all I did. I just stamped it all over the place with the same ink. And you get that kind of blotchy, cool look. Batik, I would call it batik. It's kind of neat. All right, so then I decided, let's use a different one. I have all kinds of them. Then I decided to do a Christmas one. Well, no, let's go here. I decided to do this one, the stacked stone. So here's my stacked stone. So what I did is I took the big block, I put on early espresso, cinnamon cider, and I did put some soft suede, and I don't know if you can, you know, if you're really being able to see the soft suede in there. I do definitely see the cinnamon cider and the early espresso, so it gives it a nice variety. But then I was thinking, what would it look like if I stamped that on cardstock? So here's a piece of crumb cake. Here's my block. So I put it on this big block, and I just like put it all over, folded a baby wipe in half, and then I have my stack stone on my block, and I just went like this all the way up, the kind of stamped it up like that. And let's see what it looks like. I don't know because I haven't done this one. This one is live, so we'll see what happens. Ta-da! So I'm just going to give it a good press. We'll see what it looks like. Ta-da! Well, that's kind of interesting. So it gives you, here it is on white, here it is on white and on crumb cake. So it gives you sort of a interesting difference, okay, for a background stamp. So that would be perfect to add some other things to it. But it was kind of interesting. And again, this is not a real solid surface. It's just a lot of lines. But I thought it looked kind of cool to have that variety of color in using the baby wipe technique. So while I had those colors on here, the browns, I decided I should try something I should try pine cones. So I used Christmas season. So here are my pine cones. Now this one was stamped twice. So it's a two-step stamping with this step. These two here, I use the bigger ones. On this one, for the second, I put early espresso over it. I don't like that. This one has double of the brown. So I just stamped it, inked it up here, and put it down. And again, oops, it's not going to be solid. It's kind of a different look, right? And then I went over it again with the second step and then just filled it in. So you're going to get a completely different look than if you're just stamping it with two tones. Let's stamp this one with a regular, just so you can see the difference here. It's wet. Excuse me. Okay, let's see here. Let's stamp it in regular colors so you kind of see. So we'll use a soft suede. this one. I'm just going to dry it off here. What it looks like with a clean, crisp image. I'm going to turn upside down. Ta-da! Much different, right? This has softer edges. And let's use early espresso over the top. This might not show quite as much because this soft suede looks pretty dark too. Let's see here. It's hard to see the two because until they dry, the soft suede will get lighter. But that's a two-tone look. But a completely different look with the baby wipe technique. Kind of fun. I can't believe I put baby wash. The baby wash technique. We're washing babies today. Okay, so with this Christmas set, I also then decided I needed to use some of the greenery. Let's move this stuff out of the way. So I used some of the greenery and I put it on vanilla. That's what the other one was too. So I have my two different colors. I have Granny Apple Green and Evening Evergreen. And this is what those look like then. So I just put it on this little block, kind of rubbed it in, and stamp it off. And so you get the little light and dark, different colors in there. If you don't use some of their big blocks, this is a good way to use your big blocks too. Ta-da! So a different look to it, kind of soft look, sort of fun. I like that. A different, just something different to do with this technique. So, ta-da! I think that is all I had on you for Friday. So what I'll have to do next Friday is make cards with all these things and see what we come up with. So here we go. So here's this one. Here's the leaves. Here's the flowers all over. Here's the flowers just cut out. Here's our happy birthday using, and then building, again, just building a background. And then our two, there we go, our two different colors here. So all using the baby wipe technique. So depends on what stamp you use as, you know, the look that you get. But this being a solid one, I think was a good choice, and the flowers too. I like the stacked because it has strong lines in it. But and the snowflakes, I think put together, I think it was it last year we had some winter paper that was like the purples and blues and so pretty. I mean, that makes a lovely snowflake. So there we go. That is my thing. So I had one more. Yeah, I had one more thing I was going to try. So all of these I just kind of put like blotches all over, like just squirted it down all over. And then I thought I should try one where I'm just doing lines. So here on this one I did Melon Mambo. I'm going to put some more on here. So I just did a line of Melon Mambo. And let's see what I have over here. I'm going to do some Mango Melody because that's what I have on my desk. So we're going to do that. So I'm putting quite a bit on here because I've got layers, 4 layers on here. And then we're going to put Pumpkin Pie. And see, now the Melon Mambo and the pumpkin might be kind of close. So I'm putting it right next to it so it kind of just blends in. And now I should see, maybe I'll wipe this off and go back with the leaf and just see what it looks like with something solid. So here we go. I'll just do this. So what I wanted to experiment on was having it all together, having all 3 colors. Get a rainbow. Woo, that's pretty. That's kind of pretty. There you go. And then you could wipe it off and go the opposite direction with it. Kind of neat to get a different look here. I'm going to put it right next to it. There. Well, that's fun. So there you go. It doesn't have to be just random. You can kind of plan and get kind of an ombre look. I think that looks pretty neat. So one other thing to try with it. Lots of fun. Try it. Let me see. Let me know what you think. Let me see what came out. Share it with me. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Lots of fun. So we did baby wash technique, all this different stuff, but these I think are really cool, just putting it in a straight line to get that ombre look. Alrighty, let's turn the camera. Hello, Patty. Turn the camera around. So Patty, you said you wanted to try this technique. I hope you tried it. If you didn't, here's some more ideas on it. Really fun, easy technique. I would put it on a paper plate or on your bigger block, fold it up, and there you go. Just remember that you're not going to get that clean, crisp outline like we're used to seeing, because it's everything, you're adding a little more water to it. So there we go. That's it. Y'all have a great weekend. I will be back talking on Tuesday at 2. Maybe I'll show some of these cards then. Otherwise, I'll save them for follow-up Friday. And then next week, I will do another Winging It on Wednesday. So we missed that this week with the outage and all the crazy stuff going on. So thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Tuesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.